Just this weekend.
You are very proactive in terms of being the managing director, and I like you saying that people have your email address and phone numbers. But in terms of KEBS as a whole, tell us about if somebody wants then to, how wide is your network in terms of people accessing KEBS and saying, hey, KEBS is here, it's an organization or institution we trust. We've seen a counterfeit goods. Many people may not have your contacts as the managing director. Okay. How wide is your network in terms of accessing it as the general public, telling you that they are counterfeit goods and they need to be removed from the shelf?
Okay, we are spread across the country. We have offices, of course, in Nairobi.
And they work. And the capacity is there.
The capacity is there. But as I said earlier, in terms of market surveillance, we may not have the capacity to cover the whole country. That is why we want to partner with the public. But as I mentioned, we have office, of course, in Nairobi, the head office. We have office in Mombasa. We have an office in Lunga. We have an office in Taveta. We have an office in Isebania. We have an office in Busia. We have an office in Malaba.
And the general public know this.
Yeah. This is it's.
I see what you. But let me ask you. Maybe you are right. It's not really in terms of capacity. Maybe it's because the Mwananchi is not informed. So let me ask you, what is the challenge that Kenya Bureau of Standards has to go through? What are the challenges that make it difficult for you then to do your job in terms of a very strong legal system, in terms of a very strong awareness strategy? The Wananchi know KEBS is there, company we trust, or institution we trust. We're able to go very freely. We can access it and move on. What are the challenges that you face to make sure that you do your job well in terms of a legal structure?
In terms of a legal structure, I can't complain. I want to put it this way.
You're saying what? That if somebody is caught with a counterfeit good, is charged well in court, is reprimanded well in court, are the laws very strong in terms of?
Okay, of course, the judicial system, sometimes it takes long for cases to be determined. But the fact of the matter is, whenever we get anybody doing the wrong things, we've taken a number of them to court. We have enough files that, yeah. And in fact, we had a case the other day where somebody used our mark. He used to have a valid permit. But after expiry, he did not renew, stayed out of business for some time, and then he started the process again. As a consequence of that, he produced without following the standard, actually dog feed, and it killed somebody's dogs. And this person wrote to us saying, we have these goods that have your mark. How did this happen?
So how did that happen?
So of course we checked with
somebody's also producing your mark.
So this person actually, it stopped operations as we were concerned, as far as we were concerned. But then they went ahead after some time and started producing and using the permit, which is illegal. We've taken that person to court, and he was charged. So what we're saying is we have the legal mechanism that is in place to help us be able to execute our mandate. But just like any other company, we face challenges. Just I'm sure a citizen also has challenges here and there. So just like any other company, we face challenges, of course, in terms of resources, in terms of capacity. Because if we had enough resources, we would want to deploy as many people as possible everywhere. We would wish to have an office in every county in this country. We would wish to have an office everywhere and deploy our own people. But what
you say you'd wish, meaning what? Would that be a problem?
I'm talking about capacity constraint. If we had resources, we would
want... But you have the resources, Kosgei. You do have those resources.
We don't.
Seriously?
We would wish
to operate... You're supposed to protect me in terms of a consumer and make sure that I don't consume products that will be harmful to my health, and you don't have the capacity to do that, really?
I'm talking about market surveillance. Right. You see, there is a process that we're doing. We have laboratories. Let's go through. But you see, in terms of market surveillance, I mentioned to you how substandard goods can get into the market. Those are the ones that we need to remove from those shelves. And you can do that by ensuring that you have enough people on the ground who do market surveillance. I'll give you an example. Just over the weekend, in one of these supermarkets in Mombasa, just as I do buying as usual, I also do my job. And somewhere along the way, in one of the shelves, I saw a product that does not conform.
Are you talking about that sweet? There was a sweet that came into the market that caused quite a scenario. There's a certain sweet that looked like a... Yeah. It's you know what I'm saying? I mean, substandard goods still make their way into the market. You're telling me that that capacity in terms of access to places where these goods come in is wanting. That scares many people.
Let me
So
just
tell
ask
me about
you
the strategy
something, Jim.
in terms of the way forward. Because KEBS has been in existence for a
Let-
while.
let me
So
just-
did you find an institution that was badly managed? And if so, what are you doing in terms of making sure that in the next 5, you know what I mean? Because when I see the mark of mark of KEBS, I know, oh, okay, this is a good product. KEBS mark is there. Now you're telling me that that is also one thing people are even forging.
Let me just
the
give you
KEBS mark of excellence.
Let me just give you an example. In this country, we have laws, isn't it? That say don't do 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
But do we have people in prison?
That's not an excuse, but
that
is what you're there to do, to make sure that those people who disregard the law are dealt with. That's
in
why I asked
other
you
words,
whether the legal framework also supports you in terms of punishing people who are doing that.
I'm not giving an excuse. What I'm saying is, we have people who are crooked.
Yes.
We're doing business.
Yes.
And this is where we're saying, as Kenya Bureau of Standards, individually, we may not have that capacity to be everywhere in this country.
That's
and
scary.
that is why we need
That
the
is
media.
scary.
And I want to give you an example. What KTN did. When they went to that particular shop where they were selling those sweets,
They came to
they
you.
bought it, came to us, and it's not in the market now.
Well
and
done. Well done.
what message is being sent? The message being sent is, it doesn't have to be KEBS staff alone.
It has got to be everyone.
It is everyone else. And that's what we are asking the public to do, that we are all partners in this process of ensuring that you consume quality products and get value for your money.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So what are you going to do about your mark, though? I mean, if people are forging that mark, so are you going to create a new one?
We're going on iTech security marks. We have procured. It's in the process of being procured.
Well done.
And once we have that in place, definitely this will be reduced very significantly.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Talk a lot more in terms of, so you're saying there will not be a clash between you and the anti-counterfeit agency?
No. The mandate is very clear,
Absolutely.
clearly defined.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
In terms of the way forward for Kenya Bureau of Standards, in terms of challenges you face and what you are doing to mitigate that, and tell us about your strategy or your plan for the next, 2 or 3 years. Now that you've come in as a new managing director, and you've seen, let me really call it the rot within KEBS in terms of protecting the consumer, because it is there. You say you shop and you've seen substandard goods. So what are you doing to make sure that as an institution, then you have that capacity first? And what are you doing to make sure that I trust you enough to give you that information, not as the MD of KEBS, but as KEBS as a whole?
First of all, I want to correct the impression that I've come to correct the rot. I think there is a lot of things that are being done by KEBS, but it doesn't get the opportunity to be made public. So that what happens is, it is only isolated cases where there are problems that get into the media.
Yes.
And therefore, there is an impression created that there is rot, which is actually not the case. The fact that there is mention of things and a lot is happening and being hid in the media, and it's a fact that something is happening.
I see what you mean.
That there is an institution that is really working very hard, and you see that sensitization that this is substandard, this is what we're doing, really shows that people do appreciate that KEBS is doing something.
I see what you mean.
So I want to put it
Well
that,
done.
yeah,
Well
indeed, we're doing a good
Well
job.
done.
Yeah.
How often, I know we're running a bit of time, just a couple of questions before you wind up.
Yeah.
One is, like I said in my preface, there are many businessmen, legitimate businessmen, pharmacists, supermarkets and so on, who've never seen a KEBS officer. In fact, they told me, we don't even know how they look. Do they wear white coats or what? So how often do they visit such premises to make sure that goods that have managed to find their way within the market are checked? How often do you check shops and test them to make sure that they're
you see, our market surveillance team is, my apologies. The market surveillance team is out there in the market. People go to these outlets, but sometimes you don't go there and show everybody that you're around. Because in part of what we do, we go around shelves, identify, look at that, and of course you have a laptop.
Yes.
So when you identify a product that we feel is not in our database at that particular point, we pick it. We have scanners that can be able to tell us that this product is either in our database or not. So it is not really that when you go to an outlet, you go and tell somebody, yeah, we've come, we are Kenya Bureau of Standards. No, you just walk around like any other shopper and check what is going on. Like as I give you an example, I was in a shop in a supermarket in Mombasa over the weekend, and just going around, I was able to identify these were towels being sold without instructions in English, which is against.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
So when you identify something like that, of course, one thing is you send a message, and what we are working on as a strategy is that when we identify something substandard in your outlet,
yes,
we want you, the owner of that outlet, to take responsibility so that you ensure it's only goods that meet standard that are actually sold in that outlet. What we're also trying to do is, it's not just enough to say this has been produced, it has a KEBS mark. We're also saying the responsibility of that particular person who produced.
Yes.
If something harms somebody, don't just say it has a KEBS mark, but we want to go and get this particular person. Why did you manufacture a substandard product? And I had.
But what